What is up, y'all? We're back again with another video where today I am going to be predicting the Detroit Lions 2023-2024 season and how they will do. So this schedule is rough. I'm not even gonna lie. The schedule that the Lions got, it is warranted for the hype that they've been getting. Like, let's be honest, they got a lot of hype over the offseason with the new additions and like how they ended the season, Dan Campbell, like just everything. So we do have a tough schedule. We have teams like Kansas City, teams like Tampa Bay. Oh, Tampa Bay, so like their offense is not good, but their defense is really good. Baltimore is a tough team. The Chargers are a tough team. Dallas is a tough team. Like we got a pretty tough lineup, or pretty tough schedule here. So, but the first game of the season is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Detroit Lions. This is at Kansas City at 8:20 p.m. So this is going to be a late night game, Thursday night game at Arrowhead. This game, I feel so iffy on this game. On one hand, I feel like, the Lions have had so many new additions. Chris Jones is out, most likely, unless he signs this or doesn't hold out and actually plays, because we're getting close to the game. I'm filming this on Sunday, and the game's on Thursday. So like, I think the last day that he could hold out is like Wednesday. I think by then he has to make his decision. So yeah, that's where I am on that one side. And on the other side is like, bro, they have Patrick Mahomes. They just won the Super Bowl. They have a very good offense. It's at Arrowhead. It's a Thursday night football game. So like, I'm so split. But the way I see it, both offenses are very good. Let's be honest. Our offense is very good. It's probably like somewhere top 5, top 10. That's how I feel for the Lions. I feel like, heck, even top 10 is low-key a little bit of an understatement considering how good they were last year. Especially against like good teams like the Eagles, we did very good. The Bills we were solid against. Like Jaguars, we had 40-some points. Like we were cooking like near the end of the season. So, and I think the overall mood is like the locker room and like Dan Campbell, all the players, like they're like not like buying into the hype. They've literally, I think there was like an interview where Dan Campbell said we're not buying into the hype. We haven't done anything yet, which is true. They have not done anything. They did get a winning record and they did almost get into the playoffs, but that doesn't mean anything. You have to get into the playoffs. You have to be competitive. We were doing that near the end of the season, but we didn't get the job finished. So hopefully they can do it this season. Now, once again, both very good offenses. I think our defense is slightly better than theirs, but we have to consider that it's at Arrowhead. At Arrowhead is going to be tough. Kansas City fans are ecstatic. Like they are hype, especially during like Thursday night, Monday night football games. Like they are going to bring some pressure on the Lions. So I do think, however, the Lions, especially with how this Chris Jones situation is looking, I think the Lions will pull this out. I think they will win it 38-35. I think it'll be a very close game, although I could definitely see the Chiefs win this game. So this game, I'm like almost 50-50 on. I'm barely swaying the Lions' way just because of Chris Jones, the Chris Jones situation. If he signs his contract or whatever and he doesn't hold out and he's ready for week 1, I think I would switch my prediction to the Chiefs. But because I do not know as of right now, I'm sticking with my Lions prediction, 38-35 against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Now moving on to the next game, we have Seattle at Ford Field versus the Lions. So, Seattle, we lost to them last year, and they got into the playoffs because the Rams couldn't get the job done. Flashback to me live streaming that game. Insert that.
He missed it! He missed the kick! 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 It's not over! It is not over!
Well, and there goes the Lions' playoff chances. Field goes up, it's good. Ref ball.
Yeah, that was terrible. But I think this season we will get revenge. I think we'll get revenge. I think, once again, I've said this on numerous live streams, if you guys have tuned in my live streams. I've said the Lions struggle so much against scrambling quarterbacks or dual threat quarterbacks. Geno Smith, although he hasn't had a great career, he had an amazing season last season. Almost whoa, what the? This just came out of nowhere. He won, I'm pretty sure, Comeback Player of the Year award. So I think it's going to be another high-scoring game. It's the way I see it. I think we're going to allow at least one rushing touchdown to Geno Smith, and then maybe just one on the ground from Kenneth Walker. I think we're going to get quite a few passing touchdowns. I could see Jared Goff having 3 touchdowns and a pick, and then Jahmyr Gibbs getting a receiving touchdown or a rushing touchdown or something. I also forgot to mention that Jahmyr Gibbs is a great addition. I think he could actually take us over the top against the Chiefs too. That's without even the Chris Jones situation. But I think that the Lions will also win against Seattle. I think the score will be 40-33. I think this will once again be a very high-scoring game, but I think the Lions will pull it out. That's 2 very close back-to-back games. But I think they'll pull it out. Next up is the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a pretty good game, in my opinion. I think the Lions, though, they will win this game. It's at Ford Field. It's against Atlanta. Atlanta's rushing attack is going to be our biggest problem in this game because Desmond Ridder, he can scramble a little bit, but Bijan Robinson is the biggest threat to us. And heck, even though the Falcons don't incorporate him into their offense, Kyle Pitts is another threat to our offense. We do not do the best against tight ends. Jack Campbell may be able to cure that problem for the Lions, though. So, but I think that the Lions will win this game. I think they will win 27-17. I think that's a fair score. I think the Falcons will get maybe 2 rushing touchdowns, field goal. And then the Lions will just do very good offensively. And maybe a pick, but it won't account to anything. That's what I think will happen. I think the Lions will win 27-17 against Atlanta at Ford Field. And then moving forward, we have Thursday night football against Green Bay at Lambeau Field. This game is going to be tough. Green Bay, we destroyed them 2 times last year. We swept them, but now they have Jordan Love, who we don't know how good he's going to be, so he could either be really good at buns or he could be average. So we don't. In preseason, he actually looks solid. I'll give him that. In preseason, he looks solid, but I'm going to be honest, I can't count on him being great, but I will say this. Their defense, I think, will demolish us this time around. I don't know what it is, but I just have a feeling this time around their defense will demolish us. I think that, sadly, we're going to lose this game 20-10. I think we'll lose this game. I think we'll get 1 touchdown and a field goal. At Lambeau, I think the fans are just, they're not going to be they're going to be angry this time around. I think the fans are going to pop out to the game. We have a chance to get back on the right track against Carolina next week, and I think this will be a revenge game. Sure, we won in the preseason. You could be oh, this is a revenge game. It really wasn't. It's preseason. They were playing their starters initially, and we were losing down 10-0, but we played our backups the whole game. We came back and won. But in my opinion, I think that I think they'll win this game. I think the Lions will win this game. I think we will do exactly what they did and have a monster offensive game. I think, especially with it being at Ford Field, I think we will win 37-20. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game for the Lions. I think they'll win the game, obviously. But I think the Panthers do have potential. I talked about this in my live stream, the Panthers-Lions preseason live stream. I think they have a lot of potential. Bryce Young, he's a very good quarterback, but it's going to take time for him to get adjusted and kind of I guess comfortable with the scheme. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. Next up is Tampa Bay. Now Tampa Bay, they lost Brady. Their offense looks bad. There's been rumors of Mike Evans going to the Lions, which would be great in my opinion. I think we need one of those deep ball can catch those lob passes type of guy. We don't really have that right now. Like Jameson Williams, he's fast. He's totally unproven. He's one of my favorite players on the team. I love his play style, but he has not proven anything yet. Like, let's be honest. Like he's only played in 3 games and only had 1 catch, but it was for a touchdown. Excluding preseason, obviously, because he did play a little bit in preseason. I think that the Lions will win this game, even though it's in Tampa Bay. I think this will be a very defensive game, but I think we'll pull it out. I think we'll win 16-9. 16-9 is fair. I don't think they'll get a touchdown. I think they will get 3 field goals. I think we will get 2 touchdowns and a safety. I think that's how it'll turn out. So, and then next week we have Baltimore, which in my opinion is going to be, we're going to get destroyed this game. I think Lamar Jackson, he will absolutely demolish us. Like, we struggle so much against scrambling and dual threat quarterbacks. We do so bad against them. And it's at Baltimore. So I think we will lose this game 30-10. I think we're going to get demolished. I think their defense looks great. I think we're going to just a lot of 3-and-out drives this game. I think it's going to be not a great game for us. I think we're going to probably, I don't hope for this time, but I feel like it's going to be a game where we throw a pick or fumble on the first drive and it just all goes downhill from there. We had games like that last year, the Patriots game. Oh my goodness. That game, I was so mad about how the Lions performed, but we'll lose this game. Yeah, we're going to lose this game. So, and then we have Las Vegas, which this is an interesting game. I think this will be a very entertaining game because they do have Jimmy Garoppolo, who's he's average quarterback, but they do have Devontae Adams, and they lost Darren Waller, but they have Josh Jacobs. They have a pretty solid defense, but the Raiders, I don't have a lot of faith in them this season, but I think this will be a very entertaining game. It's the day before Halloween. It's a Monday night. It's at Ford Field. I think it's going to be hopping. I was actually thinking of going to this game, honestly, because I think it's going to be a good game. I think, though, that the Lions will... This is tough. I think we'll win this game. I think we'll win this game 30-20. I think it's going to be another high-scoring game, but I think we'll win this game. I think the fans will help a lot, especially considering it's the day before Halloween. Everyone's hype. Everyone's it's a Monday night game. I think they'll win this game 30-20 against the Las Vegas Raiders. And then we have a bye week. This is actually a really good spot for the bye week. It's right in the middle of the season. Early bye weeks are the worst because you prepare all off season and then you get there and you start doing good. Or start doing bad, and then you have a bye week. So for teams that are doing really bad at the start of the season, a bye week can be beneficial. But for teams that are on a roll, you don't need that bye week. You need it later on in the season. This is another tough game. This is a game I think that we are going to lose. And I'm just putting it right out there. I'm not even mentioning the score. We're going to lose this game. It's against the LA Chargers at LA. It's a 4:05 p.m. game, which the Lions do not play evening games. That's mainly the West Coast type of games that the West Coast teams play. So we're not going to win this game. I think Austin Eckler is going to absolutely kill us. I think Herbert's going to throw all over our defense. I think we're going to lose this game 33-17. I think this will be a terrible game for us. I just don't see us winning this game, to be honest. This game is not going to be great. So, but next up, this is where we get a little redemption. Chicago at Ford Field. So, this is a 1 p.m. game. We versus Chicago. This is week 11. I think we're going to demolish them once again. I think we're going to sweep the Bears again this season. They did get better, but I think we're going to sweep them. This game, this is at Ford Field. So, I think we'll run away with this one. I think we're gonna win 27-10. I think their defense will have the occasional maybe one interception or one lucky fumble, but I think this is gonna be more of a game of keeping the ball out of Justin Fields' hands, because once again we do bad against mobile quarterbacks, but the rest of their offense is not that great. So I think we'll win that game, and then we go against Green Bay. I think that we are going to win this game. I think it's a 12:30 game, which is very odd, but it is because it is on Thanksgiving. And the Lions fans are going to pop out for this game. I will tell you that much. The Lions fans are going to pop out for this game. Heck, I might even go to this game. I'm not even going to lie. Like, a Thanksgiving game against Green Bay sounds great. So, as I said earlier, I did think we were going to lose to Green Bay that first time around, but this time around, I think we're going to absolutely kill them. I think we're going to demolish the Green Bay Packers this game. I think that the Lions this game are going to win 37-13. I think this will be a total blowout. I think the Lions are going to be like very hyped. The fans are going to be hyped. The atmosphere is going to be great for the Lions. I think the Green Bay Packers, and especially Jordan Love, they're going to have a very rough time in this game. Next up is the New Orleans Saints at New Orleans. I think this is going to be a very competitive game. I think this could actually be one of our best games of the season, up there with Kansas City. I think New Orleans is low-key a bit of a sleeper team this year. I think they could potentially do good with Derek Carr. Heck, I mean, the Raiders were low-key turning up a little bit last season. But I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be down to the wire. But I think we're going to lose this game. I think we're going to lose this game 20-27. It'll be a very entertaining game. We'll have a couple defensive stops, maybe like a pick or two. Same with them. But I think Kamara is going to be the main issue for us. Chicago is the next game. Another Chicago game. This one's at Chicago this time. This time I don't think we're going to win by as much. I think it's going to be like similar to the first time around we versed them. It's going to be a very close game. It's December 10th, so it's getting into around winter. It could snow. Lions don't do good in snow. I could actually see us potentially losing this game, but I think we will barely win it. I think we'll win it I think it's going to be a gritty game. I think we will win 20-17. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think the Lions will barely pull it out. I don't expect them. I expect them to barely win this game, but I would not be surprised if they lost it, because especially if it's snowing. If it's snowing, I think we're going to get murdered in this game. Now, this is when I start to get a little bit worried. So, the next week we got Denver, who did not do good last season. I think this could be a redemption season for them with Sean Payton. Russell Wilson, I think, could have like a little bit of a better season. I don't think he's gonna have like a fantastic season or anything like during like his prime, like when he was in his prime. I don't think he's gonna have like a replica season of any of those years. But I think they're gonna be pretty good. This is at Ford Field. I think we will lose this game though. I think it's gonna be a very defensive game. I think we will lose this game 16-10. It's gonna be a low-scoring game. It's gonna be probably one of the worst games this season, just like in terms of entertainment value. I think it's going to be like one of the worst. I think it's just going to be like a very boring game, sloppy game, like not a great game. The next game the Lions have is the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank Stadium. So this game is going to be tough. Although I think the Lions will pull it out. Minnesota, they lost quite a few people this offseason. They lost to Darius Smith. They lost Dalvin Cook, which in my opinion was one of the dumbest moves they could have made. Like, they bought into the, running backs aren't valuable narrative, which is the dumbest thing like I've heard. Like, sure, some of the contracts they get are a little outrageous, but if they are winning you games, if they are the sole reason for winning you games, like, bro, if someone were to not pay Barry Sanders, like, back in the day, they would be, like, insane. But nowadays, it's like, it's because he didn't want, he needed a huge salary and we just don't want to pay for him because he's replaceable. Like, he's replaceable. Barry Sanders is a one-of-a-kind quarterback. He's a one-of-a-kind running back. Like, bro, there's no one that has ever played even close to how he has played. Like, and even like Derrick Henry, who is a little injury prone, but he deserves a contract, bro. Let's be honest. Derrick Henry is also a one-of-a-kind running back. So to see like these people, like these running backs not get paid is really like aggravating for me, especially if they're a game changer. I can understand if they're like a low-level starter, kind of like a mid-tier, like, oh, they got like 700 rushing yards and like 10 touchdowns. Like, sure, you could cut like them. You could like get rid of them, you could trade them. I wouldn't be terribly mad at that. But if it's like a Saquon Barkley, a Christian McCaffrey, a Derrick Henry, heck, even like a Josh Jacobs, bro, you cannot afford to release that player or trade them, bro. Like, come on, dude. But I'm getting off track. I think the Lions will win this game because of Minnesota's bad offseason. I think that they will win this game 30-23. I think Justin Jefferson will still ball out like he did the last time, but I think we'll get our revenge at US Bank Stadium this time around. And then Dallas. This is going to be, once again, another train wreck of a game. If you saw it last season, we got killed by Dallas. I think Dallas will destroy us once again this time. It is a Saturday night game, 8:15 at Dallas. We're going to get demolished this game. I'm not even going to go into like specifics. Lions are going to lose, I think, like 30-13. I think they're going to lose. I think actually 30-13 is a little bit bad. I think we will lose 30-17. I think we'll get the occasional 2 touchdowns and maybe like a field goal. But I think that Dallas is just going to get like a pick 6, something like that, fumble 6 or fumble in great territory. I think it's going to be more so the offense struggling than the defense struggling, because Dallas's offense is not that great. Like, they do have CeeDee Lamb, who's pretty good. Tony Pollard is a good upcoming star. Their O-line is solid, but Dak Prescott he needs to go for them. They did get Trey Lance, so maybe, hopefully, once again, I hate injuries. Injuries are a terrible part of football, but let's say if Dak Prescott did get injured, they do have Trey Lance. So they do have depth at their quarterback position. They have Cooper Rush, who's at least average backup. And once again, when I say like average backup, that doesn't mean like, oh, they're like a good player. No, that means like they're an average backup. That means like in terms of like Madden, almost like a 68 overall or like a 69, 70. In terms of a high level backup, they're probably like a 74. Like, that's what I mean by like a high level backup. And then the final game of the season is against Minnesota at Ford Field. I think the Lions will get their revenge this season, and I think that they will win. I think the Lions will win this game. I think it's not going to be a close game this time around. I think the Lions, they're going to struggle in the first half. They're going to probably fall into like the same things. They'll probably be like 6-13 or something, or 6-17, I think. And then they're going to come back. I think they'll win like 30-20 or something. I think that's how the Lions will perform in that game. With all that being said, let's go over the games that I had predicted so far. So we have Kansas City and Seattle. Those are both wins. Atlanta's a win. That's 3-0 to start the season. Green Bay, we're going to lose that game, like I said. So we're 3-1. We'll win against Carolina. That's 4-1. Tampa Bay, 5-1. Lions will start out hot this season. They will lose to Baltimore, 5-2. Win against Las Vegas, 6-2. Lose to the Chargers, 6-3. Win against Chicago, 7-3. Win against Green Bay, 8-3. Lose to New Orleans, 8-4. Win against Chicago, 9-4. Lose to Denver, 9-5. Win against Minnesota, 10-5. Lose to Dallas, 10-6, and win against Minnesota, 11-6. Now, in terms of playoffs, I can't really get into it because I'm predicting the other team's games, so it's kind of like hard for me to like think of potential matchups. But I will say this: depending on the matchups, the Lions could get to the Super Bowl. Now, I know that's probably outrageous, but if you think about it, like if we, let's say, like we're not versing like the Eagles or the Niners, I think the Cowboys will be like a high seed. But like, I don't know, like if Minnesota makes it, like if we verse Minnesota the first week, or if we even get the bye somehow, like let's say the NFC is like terrible and we get the bye, and then we verse like a bad team, we're one win away at that rate, if we get the bye week and we win that game, from getting to the freaking conference finals, bro. Like, that's crazy. Like, the NFC championship, like, we would be in that game if we just beat, like, a terrible team. So it really depends all on the matchups. Like, if we verse, like, the Eagles, I'm not even going to lie, or the Cowboys, I could see us losing that game. I could see us losing, like, the first round. I could. But if we're versing, like, a team like Minnesota, the 49ers even, like, a couple other teams, I don't know, the NFC's in such a bad spot right now. The Saints, like, if they win their division, we verse them. We could definitely make a deep playoff run. It all depends on who we verse. So, considering that, if we verse bad opponents, I could see us getting the Super Bowl at our ceiling. I don't think we will win it this year. I think we should have a lot. I think we'll almost be like the Eagles last year, where they have like a very good regular season, very good playoffs, but they can't get the job done in the Super Bowl. At our floor, I think that we will. I want to say lose like in our first game, like in the wild card. If we end up in the wild card, I don't think that's realistic. I think we'll lose in the second round as our floor. So in conclusion, man, I think the Lions are gonna go 11-6 this year. They got a couple tough matchups, but also a lot of pretty good matchups for them. I think they could go deep in the playoffs, but I'm not sure at the moment. It really depends on the seeding, so I can't make a bold prediction on that. But I think the Lions will go 11-6 this season. I think it'll be a good season for them. I think they'll almost perform a lot how the Eagles did last year. I think they'll be a very similar team. Yeah, maybe not make the Super Bowl, but just how they perform in the regular season and as a team as a whole. But that's pretty much what I think. If you like the video, like and sub. We got more Lions content coming soon. Possibly a league prediction video, but it's getting close to the start of the regular season, so I'd have to make that very quickly. So that's how I think the Lions season is going to go. Got a lot of Lions live streams coming up this season. Be sure to tune into those. And until Thursday, see you guys later.